Hi there, Baini here. Let's now look at how we can create a new automation flow. So once you've opened your Power Automate desktop application, you have several options to create a new flow. You can come up here just beneath the title bar. At the left side, we have a button to create a new flow. You can also see that on the home page where we have this banner welcoming you as a user, there is also a button to create a new flow, which you can click to do that. You could also go to flows, and then if you do not have any flows yet, it presents you with the option to create a new flow. Once you click on that, you'll be presented with a dialog window that will ask you to give the flow that you are creating a name. That is the automation flow you wish to create. So for instance, this one, let's call it task. I like to create a version number for my flows because sometimes I get ideas to create different approaches to accomplish a particular automation task. Okay, so for instance, I'm going to name this task version 1, or I could do task 1 underscore v1. So I know that it is task 1 version 1. If I get an idea to change it, I can also do tax 1 version 2, something like that. So just go along with a versioning approach that suits you, because at the end of the day, you may create a particular flow that you wouldn't want to change, but then you will need a different version of it. So that's what I do with the file naming. Another thing that I would point out here is that Microsoft has this language for its Power Apps that it calls PowerFX. Now, you could choose to enable that. It gives you some features or access to some features when it comes to the PowerFX language. If you don't want that, you leave this toggle unchecked. But then if you want that, which in this case I would say let's try it out, you just click to toggle this on, and then you click on create. Once you click on create, a new window comes up, and then maximize this one. So we get this window, Power Automate, having the name that we assigned for the flow. Now this is where you design your flow, automation flow. Within this window, you have the title bar giving you access to many options like file, edit, debug, tools, view, help. And they don't have that much going on in there, just a few tools that we'll get to learn them as we go along. We also have the actions pane to the left, where you have access to a whole lot of options or actions that you can drag and drop to the design area over here, where you'll be creating the flow. You have a save button here, a run, stop, run next action, then an option to record actions so that you automate that. You also have the option to create different subflows. So for instance, this particular, think of it as pages in your document. Okay, so we have the main page. Okay, if you want to add, you just come to the new, and then you click to add a new subflow. You could also come here and then do new and then add to the flow. We also have a search area where you can type in there to search for specific items within your flow. Then to the right, you have a pane that actually has 3 other buttons to toggle between the various pages of the pane. So we have the variables button, we have the UI element button, we have the images button. So the variables button presents you with all the variables that you've created to use within your automation flow. Variables are also created as a result of certain actions that you may perform, so you might want to look out for that. It's not always that you have to create variables yourself, but then the actions that you perform may also produce some variables which will in turn appear here. Then we have the UI elements that essentially are the elements that you'll be pointing to or interacting with within your flow, and these when captured also appears here. For the captured images. If you'd like to use images so that you would use them in your flow, when you capture them, this is where they will also appear for you to use. At the bottom, we have this status bar that shows you the status of your flow. It gives you the actions you have selected, or the number of actions you've curated here, the number of subflows, and the delay time, or the time that you use to run your flows. So essentially, this is how a new flow is created. Join me in the next session to look at how we can create a particular flow.